without knowing that the firefighting procedure has not been declared conclusive. We still have access to carry out our mandate, but we are facing defiance from people. Also, the people around are inhaling smoke. That smoke is what kills, not actually the flame or the fire. The fire could only get you burnt, but the inhalation of the toxic substances is what kills. And people are within that scene now, inhaling smoke. So I think this is an opportunity, and I wish to commend your efforts in having us in the studio to talk to the Nigerians. We cannot do it alone. We need the media to adequately partner with us to sensitize the people. We do not have all the resources to be able to reach a large majority of the masses.
We will continue to do so, but we have to thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. DSS Al-Hassan Ahmad Kantin is the Public Relations Officer of the Federal Fire Service, Kano Command. Thank you once more for speaking with us on Sunrise Daily.
Yeah. Let's get back to the security matter, which we were mentioning earlier. Authorities for that Kwara matter are yet to provide full operational details, but the development has heightened anxiety over the scale and coordination of that attack in Kwara, where some of those terrorists releasing videos of their abductees. At the same time, 200 U.S. military personnel are sent to Nigeria with reports of deployment across select air bases as part of ongoing security cooperation. What do these parallel developments mean for Nigeria's sovereignty, counter-terrorism strategy, and regional security posture? Are these routine defense collaborations or signals of a deeper recalibration in security policy? We're joined by Dennis Amakere, former state security operatives. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You know, almost sounds like a broken record when we talk about this kind of matters, because it keeps happening with, I mean, you could use the word reckless abandon, as it were, even though the authorities tell us they're doing their bit to ensure that they stem the tide, but the results is what a lot of people see, and then they predicate whatever comment or opinion they have based on the results that they have seen. Give us your impression of all of these matters, particularly if you perhaps juxtapose it with what the security authorities say they are doing to ensure that they stop this from continuous replay.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I accept my condolences for your reporter who died. It's really sad event.
Thank you.
But coming back to this problem, I think, like you said, it's like a broken record. And then, of course, you find out that it follows the same playbook, you know, where terrorists are always trying to take, abduct people, and then, of course, taking videos of them and sending it to the public through social media, you know. And, of course, if you remember, terrorists, the whole worldwide, usually have the same objective, and that is publicity. They really need publicity to project whatever they are doing. And then you can see the back and forth between the Nigerian authorities and the terrorists. They said, oh, Nigerian authorities are lying. It is only that it's not only 25 people or so, and they have the people. And in fact, they went to the extent of counting them while they are filming them. You know, so that tells you a lot. They are trying to project, and they are trying to see that what they are doing counts. Because right now, from the information I'm getting, they are really in a dire strait. They are trying to get more money, or trying to even escape. But there is, all the routes have been blocked for them, and all the monies and the food sources are blocked. So I think they're in their strength.
All right.
And if it extends for a while, a lot of things will happen.
You know, if you were still an operative when these kind of things are happening, what will be going through your mind right now?
The best way, or what will go through my mind is how we're going to solve this problem and the strategies or tactics that we're going to use in dealing with it.
But is that, I mean, people looking at all of these things happening in different states, almost with impunity, with the kind of confidence with which they carry out these things, and probably coordination, if you will, there will be basic questions from the citizenry about interagency cooperation, intelligence across board. Is there intelligence failure? What is the missing gap? How do these things keep happening? Yet, of course, we always know that the budgets, as a matter of fact, security funding, state governors have, how could we even forget that? State governors have huge security votes to ensure these kind of things don't happen. The country budgets a lot security-wise to ensure these kind of things don't happen. But it just appears as though the question will come through, are we sitting on our hands? Why are these things still happening?
Well, there are many reasons why it is happening, but majorly, I think there is certain reasons that I'm going to discuss here, and I think it's very, very important. The government should look at it, and then, of course, do something about it quickly, because there are people in society, people in government, influential people who are backing these terrorists. You know, how can we be fighting something for 16 years? And we know, even President Jonathan has said it. There are people, Boko Haram supporters in his government. We have seen where, all the supplies that these people are getting, and the genocide thing, that it has gone international. And right now we have boots in Nigeria where they are actually helping the security agencies and military to see that they crush it, So it is more complicated than that. The ordinary man will be worried. Why are we still doing this? But the inside will tell you that actually there are saboteurs within the government, within the society, that are trying to make sure that this thing continue, because there is a criminal economy going on. There are a lot of people making money out of it. Serious money. Gold, natural resources, then of course the petty ones like those selling fuel, those selling food to these people. And that is what the security agencies are trying to block now.
I'm wondering whether it's late in the day, because we've been told that this is very much linked to the issue of mineral resources in our country. The issue of rare earth minerals, and people who know about the maps of these things, the geomap, have shown us how it's all linked from the northwest, particularly down to the north central, and you have this vast open land. But then you have to ask, what then is the link? If it was just an economic, economic issue, what then is the link with religion then? Why does it seem to wear a religious cover? And how do we deal with this? Because it would seem that is the part that really frightens a lot of Nigeria. This ploy, this controversy that, some people are actually after a different agenda. Is it that they are hiding under this issue of the economy, or is it the people who are, trying to exploit the economy of the mineral resources? Are they the ones hiding under the cover of these people who now have an agenda? What exactly is the link?
You are very correct. They are hiding under the cover of religion. They are hiding under the cover of religion. I'll tell you why. Jihadists, people who want to form a caliphate, it was a religious thing at that time. And then, of course, a very, very different teaching in Muslim, religion, Islamic religion. And of course, later we even come to find out they were killing some people who don't believe in what they believe, even Muslims. But the point is that they have come to develop, got affiliation with foreign partners like ISIS, and these people have already come to find out that there are a lot of natural resources in Nigeria. In fact, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and he told me, he said, Nigeria is not actually fighting a religious war. What we are fighting is an economic war, because what they are going for are those rare earth natural resources that are found in the North Central and other areas too. So it is something that I'm sure the Nigerian intelligence agencies are very, very much aware of it, and then of course will address it, because that's where you have the influencers. There are very, very high net worth individuals, retired military generals who are part of this, who are making sure that these things don't end.
This is frightening. This is frightening because, I mean, these are people who ought to ordinarily have an interest in protecting the state, making sure that the state doesn't fall apart, and making sure that the state is the only one who has the monopoly of violence. But to turn the guns on innocent rural dwellers, and look at what we saw in Horo and Nuru communities of Kwara State, people who were just going about their businesses, murdered in their numbers, in cold blood overnight, in their numbers, members from that community being taken. And there are questions as to where have they been taken to? Where have they been taken to that we're not aware of? And then these frequent kidnappings we see around Niger. People will ask questions as to, is it that the resources that they are getting in their mind, or are they using these people as forced labor, to work the mines that they are doing? It's unclear really what exactly is happening. And then when they get freed mysteriously. People are asking, are we also helping to fuel that economy by paying ransom, even though the state has denied heavily that it pays any form of ransom? But if we're not catching these kidnappers and people are getting freed, people can put two and two together. For you who is on the outside, are we really helping this situation, or are we compounding it?
Like I said, it is open to conjecture, where there are people that in government, government really have to look inwards too. There are some people there that are trying to sabotage the government itself, and they have to pick out all those people, but it becomes a worrisome thing where we have hostages. They are taking them to, the ungoverned spaces in Nigeria. And we should be able to, concentrate our forces in dealing with them, because I think that is where it is becoming a problem. When you have the United States send some bombs into Sokoto State, instead of people to be happy that, look, finally they are hitting these terrorists that are disturbing us, people are angry. And it's surprising, because why? When we have, these people disturbing us, we have been shouting, terrorists are worrying us in the north especially, and somebody is coming to help us, and we are angry that they are bombing people, or even the troops that were just brought in recently. Some people are talking about sovereignty. Our sovereignty is very much intact. I'm happy that there is some serious talk before these people came in, but they are there to help us, and not to, take our sovereignty. It depends on what those people are referring to as sovereignty, but, we have a lot of agent provocateurs that are causing this problem, in Kaduna State, in Niger State, in all kinds of areas that we're having this problem.
You know, there are some basic things that lots of people look to see security agencies do, and it appears to be lacking. For instance, if you go to even neighboring West African states here, they ask you, where's your ID? Who are you? Where are you coming from? So if you don't have that, then you have questions. Immigration, the security agencies, they all perform those basic ones. So questions for Interior Minister and their colleagues, is that really happening? Now come people move around this country who Nigerians say, no, these guys are not Nigerians. And they appear to be at home here, but that doesn't happen in our neighbors here. But speaking about the troops deployment, the U.S. troops, 200 of them coming in. Of course, there's a previous detachment, so that coordination is going to happen. And seeing those heavy artillery, military transport moving in to strategic air bases in the country, doesn't that give you an indication of wow, okay, it looks as if we have to expect some serious operations that are going to be carried out perhaps sooner rather than later?
Yes, I agree with you. And I think that is something that is going to go on, that's going to happen. You know, for those people who have been crying wolf or crying babies, have to really wake up, because this thing is for once and for all. I think there's a final push to get rid of these insurgents, terrorists or bandits that we call, that are, you know, disturbing the country for once. You know, so yes, they are coming in and they are all located in different areas, and then that final push, I think, is going to happen very soon.
Let me ask you about this controversy making the rounds about bugging. Are you sure do you try that when you were in service, tapping people's phone lines? Because the former governor of Kaduna State has been making the rounds. I mean, several lawyers, security agencies, all talking about, whoa, you listen to a conversation of a phone tapping involving the NSA where they got their info. This sparks a lot of questions, several people asking. In the first instance, so the NSA's phone, is that vulnerable? A national security advisor? And then the questions as to the legality of that incident all by itself. So what struck you when you heard it?
Well, a lot of things passed through my mind. Right now, there are so many things that are happening, especially in the tech areas. You know, for instance, WhatsApp is end-to-end encryption, you know, but there are certain apps that you can use now, you know, to actually break into that and listen. So a lot of things do happen. But for this former governor of Kaduna State, I think he's an agent provocateur. You know, he's a rabble-rouser, just trying to, you know, beat up certain things, because I think he's having the short end of the stick at this time. In fact, there is a letter that is circulating, and that particular letter, I think the security agencies have to call into question. Because if you look at it, it's fake. It's totally fake, because what he is asking for in that letter are things that, you know, it sounds like he knows. He said there are somebody told him from Poland, there is this toxic waste. That why should Nigeria import toxic waste? If there is anything about importation, I think we have the Nigerian National Nuclear Regulatory Agency, I think NNRA, you know, that manages the importation, the use, and of course the disposal of radioactive materials in the oil industry. So I don't see how somebody will be importing a toxic...
Are you talking about the thallium sulfate?
Yeah, I'm talking of the thallium sulfate.
Should we dismiss that so quickly? Because remember, if they're listening to phone calls now, what would be something they must have picked up in that instance, saying, well, as you know what they say, could there be a smoke without fire in this case?
Let me tell you one thing. I think the security agencies really have to talk to him, and let's find out how he bugged the phone of the National Security Advisor. I don't know what is going on, but I can tell you it's a lie. And
which part?
The
bugging part or the asylum sulfate?
The bugging part, because it is from the bugging part that he had this thallium sulfate thing, or is it from a different source? If it is the ONSA that is importing it, what for? At least they must have mentioned it during his listening to that bug.
So which one would you say is a lie? I mean, you yourself just said now that there are apps you can use to listen to some of these online calling application platforms. So why would this one be a lie?
It's a lie because, see, those offices you are talking about, you know, have dedicated lines that are not for common use. You can call somebody in the NSS office on WhatsApp, you know, and talk to them. But when there is serious business, the NSA does not use WhatsApp or any other direct line that is using. There are dedicated lines that he uses between himself and the president, other security agencies, and stuff like that. So for him to say that he bugged the line of the, maybe he has an agent in the NSS office that told him one or two things.
Yeah, but but don't forget, yes. I think the U.S. Secretary of Defense, wasn't he also immersed in that kind of controversy where he was circulating this kind of national top information on, what's that platform now?
On an open source email.
So if that happened, why should we rule out this one just like that?
Then that cannot be classified as bugging. That's classified as leakages. You know, those are leakages, and that's why you don't send email.
No, the point I'm trying to make is, if quote unquote he did that, he might have said, well, it might have been a slip or a mistake because he shouldn't be doing that. Over here too, can there be a mistake? He could have used and maybe unintended consequence, I mean, unintentionally use an open platform for conversation, which was then intercepted, because if he's clearly saying on national television that, look, we have access and we did listen, should we dismiss it?
That alone tells you that it's a lie. If I have access, I will not come to television and tell you that I have it. It will be a well-kept secret that I'll be using from time to time, okay? So I tell you, what El Rufai said is a lie. He's just an agent provocateur, you know, and I think the security agencies, forget about him trying to gather himself around with people resisting arrest. That's what he's trying to do, but I think they will get him to come and explain, you know, this is not against any kind of dealing with opposition or something like that. You write a letter about a toxic material, and then you are copying your party and your party chairman and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. When you read that letter, you see that it's a childish letter. You know, it does not, the dots don't connect.
All right, Mr. Denza Michael, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that wraps it up today on the program. Thank you all for watching. We will see you again tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain, so goodbye.
How swiftly Monday went. Thank you for watching. I'm Maope Ogun Yusuf. Here's wishing you a productive day.